Energizer, and I am on the Blue Review. Hey, this is Sean Green. You're watching the Blue Review.
Bring. Hey, welcome to Tuesday, and welcome to a happy Tuesday morning here on the Blue Review, powered by LAX. I'm Marcas Grant. That is Greg Bergman. It was a little bit of a slog last night. It was not the most exciting game, but in the end, they got a W, Greg. That's all that matters.
They got the W. It was 3 hours of a game where nothing happened until the ninth inning. So I don't know how it got to 3 hours, but it sure was 3 hours.
Oh, man, yeah. We'll try to maybe decipher how it became a 3-hour game, plus some of the more important things that we learned from last night, maybe something that happened off the field that we may try to learn from as well. We'll get into all that and more. But first, I want to let you know, as always, the Blue Review is powered by LAX. LAX preparing for a huge win against traffic. The Skylink train is currently in testing to ensure it's a fast and reliable ride to every terminal. For more information, you can visit lawa.org/ESPN. Look at all those beautiful photos of the Skylink.
That Skylink's going to make it so much easier to move around. It's going to make the traffic down there can be really bad, and this is going to help out a ton.
Yeah, which if this happened, look at that's Century Boulevard with like one car on it. Can you imagine?
That never happens.
Can you imagine if we get to that day? That would be a glorious day.
Every time. I'm using it every time.
So anyway, we're looking forward to that as well. So the Dodgers rally last night to get a 5-4 win over the Miami Marlins, a game that started well enough, Greg. They got 2 in the first inning against Chris Paddock, and then the bats went to sleep until the ninth. And we finally get our Kyle Tucker moment. Yeah, I know he had that sort of flair that led to a game-winning run against the Mets a couple weeks ago, but this finally felt like the first real Kyle Tucker welcome to LA moment.
Yeah, no, it absolutely did. And throughout the game, we were watching him, and I was kind of prodding you a little bit, like, okay, are you ready? Is he going to be your villain? Is this going to be the moment? I honestly, if he didn't get a hit right there,
it probably was going to happen.
I think you were going to come in and he was going to be the villain.
It was going to happen. If they had lost 4-3 with Tucker like popping up or something like that, yeah, it would have happened.
Yeah, no, absolutely would. And so it was good for him, just for the sake of him not becoming the villain for you. I think Kyle Tucker was very happy about that.
Yes, I'm sure that's what was keeping him up at night.
Marcas Grant on the Blue Review is going to make me his villain if I don't get a hit right here, so I better do something. But yeah, it was great to see him actually get that big hit, and hopefully that's something that can kind of propel him forward. He also showed some emotion. I mean, it was the most emotion we've seen from him, but it was some emotion even when he was running around the bases. I mean, he's smiling, and then he was like jumping around with everybody's like, "Yeah, I'm jumping."
Look, I think that's going to be the most we get out of him. I don't think you're going to get too much more emotion than that out of Kyle.
Look, man, if you're getting game-winning hits, if you start to pick it up and you start to play well, who cares if Tom Green doesn't have emotion? It's fine by me.
I would love to see a staring contest between Kyle Tucker and Will Smith.
Oh my God! Who blinks first?
Just a stone-faced stare off between the two of them. That would be kind of amazing. I
think we'd still be sitting there. If you started that stare off right now, tomorrow we would still be like, "Hey, they're still going.
They're still there. Are they breathing? Somebody check him out." Yeah, It's apparent that he's just never going to be too high or too low. He's always going to kind of have the same expression. He did give a little bit of a smile after the hit last night. And to your point, we'll see if this kind of actually sparks something. I mean, the thing I've noticed the last couple days is he seems to be hitting the ball harder, maybe barreling up a few more. The strikeout number has come down. He did have one. He was caught looking on a fastball midway through the game last night. But the last couple of days, it seems like the swing and miss. It seems like the chase is down from where it was earlier in the season. So maybe we're starting to see a little bit of what we were hoping for from Kyle Tucker. it was a night kind of where a lot of guys in the middle of the lineup, bottom of the lineup didn't show up. Shohei, though, maybe Shohei's is back again.
Yeah, I think Shohei's totally back. But I want to go back to Tucker for just a little bit because I think that's an important topic to start with. They were talking about it on the broadcast, and I really started to pay attention to it after they said it at the beginning, is that he swings at the first pitch 51% of the time.
Wow.
So I was paying attention to that in every single at bat, and it was literally 50%. It was he swung at the first pitch, then didn't swing at this next one. He swung at the first pitch and then didn't swing at the next one. It was amazing how spot on they were about that, and I think that's part of the. I mean, it feels like he's trying to be aggressive, but also be patient at the same time by his whole aura is that he walks a bunch. Mm-hmm. So if that is to kind of hold off the pitcher being like, well, if he walks a bunch, but he's aggressive, I think it's just to kind of mess with them. But it was interesting that it was 50%. And the fact is, did you see the post-game interview with Kirsten Watson afterwards?
No, I kind of, as soon as I was exhausted. As soon as it was done, I pretty much shut it down and went to bed.
I decided to watch him because I actually had around maybe, I don't know, the 6th inning or 7th inning, I got into bed. I watched it on my phone and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be in bed. But I wanted to watch actually his reaction talking to Kirsten Watson. And it's so stone-faced, and he doesn't answer questions. He's like, I'm just going to give credit to all my teammates. It's this exactly. Look at it. There's nothing there. It's just, he's not answering the questions. It's amazing. But at the same time, hey, if you're going to get a game-winning hit, cool. Even this didn't, he barely moves on that. It's like, all right, yeah, I got some water on my back. Okay, let me help out.
How many, by the way, side note to this, how many, accidental.
Yeah, smile.
How many accidental Gatorade bucket baths does Kirsten Watson end up taking? Because it happens several times a year.
She's learning to run away though.
Right. Well, I mean, she gets because where she's positioned, she gets to kind of see them coming along, so she knows when it's time to step back and leave. But I'm sure she catches a few by accident anyway. Anyway, that's
Shohei. Sorry, you were saying about Shohei.
Shohei. Yeah, I mean, look, Shohei looks like he's coming around again. Had the 3 hits on Sunday in the finale against the Cubs. Had 3 more hits last night, including the double to really set things up to bring in a run, and then he scored the game-winning run himself. It for everybody that was panicked. I don't know if panic's right. I mean, there's just people who were frustrated, upset, maybe mildly panicked about Shohei. We can rest that now, right?
Yeah, we can all, but we never should have had any sort of panic on Shohei. This is what he does. That's 3 games in a row now where he's been on base at least 3 times. The guy is going to be just fine. He always was going to be just fine. I mean, maybe the RBI numbers and the home run numbers are a little bit low to start this season. I bet you at the end of it, he's still going to have 45 to 50 home runs. He's still going to have, he's still going to have something like 100 RBIs. He's going to be fine. His numbers are going to be just fine. But he's Shohei. He's going to have moments where you're like, man, you have no idea what he's even looking at late. And then you're like, oh my God, how can anybody ever get this guy out? It's just you call him a Costco hitter, and that's exactly what it is. And right now he's in bulk right now.
Yeah, man. I mean, he's just, he went through that 0 for 12 stretch. Now he's got 6 hits in the last 2 games. He had the home run on Sunday. It's going to be fine. It is going to be fine. And here's the thing. He'll probably go through another stretch where he looks lost at the plate. It's just going to happen. So I'm cautioning people now that when we go through a week where Shohei just can't figure it out, let's not freak out. Let's not start talking about Shohei is, needs to do more or whatever. He's going to be just fine. It's going to be fine for him. Yeah.
He's going to strike out a bunch. He's going to strike out 125 times, just like he does every single year. So, just allow it to happen and be happy.
Just, in the words
he's still a Dodger. And now he's also going to pitch, and he's got a 0.3 something ERA. So, just appreciate the man. That's
all. Speaking of pitching, not the best night for Yoshinobu Yamamoto last night. Really just struggled with command, was uncharacteristically out of the zone, just kind of around the zone. 4 walks in the 5 innings, gave up a 3-run homer to Liam Hicks that put the Dodgers down, lasted just 5, gave up 4 runs on 5 hits, 4 strikeouts. I don't know. I don't have too much insight on this other than it just was kind of a bad night for Yama.
Yeah, he just couldn't find the plate. You could see his fastball just wasn't hitting. Like he couldn't land anything for strike. He was going right to that in on the right-handed hitters and then to the left-handed hitters out. On the right-handed hitters, he was going inside, and on the left-handed hitters, he was going outside. But he just couldn't land that pitch to hit that to hit the side of the plate, which he normally does. It just was a little bit off today, and this is the first time that he's given up 4 walks in a game since August of last year against the Angels when he had 5. So it's not like it's unprecedented, but at the same time, that's just not him. But he was battling. Like I thought he was going to get out of the 5th and he would have been around 85, 88 pitches, and he was going to come out for the 6th and he was going to get through the 6th cleanly, and that was going to be it. But once he gave up that home run, that was basically it for him. It's like, okay, you gave up a 3-run home run with 2 outs and 2 strikes. You're just not fully on, and that's okay. He's going to have one every once in a while, but the fact is, like, this man is still going to be a Cy Young candidate, and then he's going to push Shohei because Shohei is going to go tonight. But I will never ever say a bad word about Yoshinobu Yamamoto based on what he did last year, and the fact that even in these games where like he just don't got it, he still was 1 strike away from having 0 earned runs, because the one that Hassan Kim did, he got out of a loaded jam. He got out of he's just an amazing pitcher he was 1 strike away.
Yeah, I mean, he gave up the unearned run on that bases loaded ground ball. Kim kind of bobbled it. I mean,
he had it too.
He did. I mean, that was a do or die play. Like, he had to field that cleanly. It was his only chance of getting me out at first base. And then when the ball kind of squirted out of his glove, there was really no shot at that point. But yeah, I was with you because he went into that 5th inning and was at 70 something pitches, and I'm thinking, all right, well, he can, if he can battle through this, he can still come out and get through a 6th inning, and it just didn't quite happen last night. It happens. So that's kind of where you go with that.
But thankfully, after him, the bullpen came in and shut it down. They were striking guys out. They were not allowing a couple walks, which is the walks were a problem the last 2 games. But they were striking guys out. They didn't allow a hit. They didn't even allow a ball in play for 2 or 3 innings before I think there was a hit or something.
There was a hit in the 9th, the top of the 9th. Yeah.
Yeah. So like they were just shutting down this team. So it just shows that the Marlins, while they're okay, they're not some high-powered offense that's going to do a whole bunch. And the bullpen, which we saw, Vezia, he got into a little bit of trouble again and still got out of it. The fact is they came in and they shut him down.
Yeah, I mean, Vezia strikes out the side. Tanner Scott strikes out the side. So he, especially good to see him bounce back. Both of those guys, Vezia and Scott, bounce back after that bad Friday night outing against the Cubs last weekend. So that was sort of nice. What do you feel on Edgardo Henriquez? Because I feel like you never really know what you're going to get from him from night to night. Last night looked pretty good, but some nights you just it's like we know he throws hard, but it also doesn't feel like he always knows where it's going.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was, because he had a couple walks the night before when he's. Yeah. I mean, it seems like Dave Roberts has him a little bit higher on his trust tree than he has in years past. He gave up a couple walks a couple nights ago. He got a strikeout and didn't give up a hit last night. So, but yeah, can be a little bit when he throws 102, 103 miles an hour. You kind of lose that control sometimes. Not everybody can be Mason Miller and just be dotting pitches all over, who gave up some runs.
Gave up a couple runs last night, so he's not.
It was going to happen eventually. It was going to happen eventually. There's not very many Oral Hershiser's. I think he got to like 34, 36, 38 games in a row or innings. Oof, it was crazy. But yeah, Edgardo Henriquez, I think that he can be valuable, but I don't put him in a high leverage role at this point. He still needs to prove himself a little bit more. I think he can get to that space, but I think he's typically going to be, a 6th, 7th inning guy. And then possibly when you're down or up a bunch of runs later innings.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's sort of where he's going to slot. So I just kind of want to see some more consistency from him. Last night was good. Keep the walks down. He's just weird for a guy that throws as hard as he does. Is not really a strikeout guy, but just keep pounding the strike zone, getting outs. That's
Well,
the important part.
look at Brusdar Graterol. He throws 100 miles an hour and he gives up soft contact. Like he's not a strikeout guy, and he throws extremely hard.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if we'll ever see Brusdar again. Like I need to see it first.
Yeah.
I know he's on his way back, but yeah, like sometimes these guys, they throw hard, but they also kind of pitch to contact, which is odd because when you throw that hard, you give up a lot of home runs if you're pitching to contact. So
Yeah. By the way, in case anybody's curious, Graterol is throwing. He's progressing. He's somewhere in the upper 90s according to last report. That was about a week ago. So we'll see, what his progress is if and when we see him again in Los Angeles. We will see. Speaking of relievers and guys who throw hard, an Edwin Diaz update to Fabian Ordaya had a report about that in The Athletic yesterday, that he's recovering and progressing from the surgery. But I don't know if you saw this, the loose bodies in his elbow that he had removed go as far back as 2012 when he was drafted by the Mariners, and that apparently it just was never an issue until a couple weeks ago when he started feeling pain. Now, I know Diaz thinks that he'll be back and as good as ever after the surgery. I know nothing about having loose bodies in an elbow, but 2012, that was a long time ago, Greg. Like, what?
Yeah, that is a long time. So the fact that he's been pitching as such a high level pitcher with loose bodies in his elbow for that long, it's kind of crazy. Dr. Clapper has come on many shows here on ESPN LA, and I actually talked to him on the phone when this all went down. And he said the exact same kind of thing, that it will. So once they get rid of the loose bodies in the elbow, that he can basically come back pretty quickly. They're holding him out till July just to make sure he's okay. But the fact is that he should be able to pitch like nothing. This isn't one of those like a Tommy John type situation or any kind of major surgery. You get rid of the loose bodies and your elbow is just essentially fine once it heals. So which is a good thing for Edwin Diaz and for the Dodgers and for us. But I have a conspiracy theory, Marcus, because I like conspiracy theories.
All right.
The Dodgers, this is what the Dodgers do. So if he's had it since 2012 and he went through everything what they did, like with the Mariners, with the Mets, he's been pitching like this. I don't think they haven't seen it. I think that they're just like, okay, you can pitch through it, then cool, go ahead and go do it. The Dodgers, on the other hand, the way that they do things is, oh, you have something and it's beginning of the season. Okay, let's shut you down till July. You're fine. Maybe you can come back in 2 weeks, but we don't want that. We're going to push you till July just because, look, we'll be fine. We got other guys to help us out. Tanner Scott was a closer. Blake Trinan was a closer. Don't worry about it. Just hold off, get right, make sure your knee's healed, get that elbow looking good. And then you know what? When you come back in late July, mid-July, you can just be nice and healthy and push through the rest of the season and into the playoffs, and you'll be feeling as good as you've ever felt in the postseason, and you'll be amazing, and you'll win a World Series because that's what the Dodgers do. Do you believe my conspiracy theory?
It does sound plausible. I mean, again, these are the things you can do when you have the depth that the Dodgers have, right? You can sort of manipulate it. I mean, look, we know from past years the Dodgers got really good at phantom IL stints, at manipulating their rotation, sort of, having people on the OKC shuttle back and forth to LA to kind of, I mean, even before they went to an actual 6-man rotation, the Dodgers were sort of manipulating a 6-man rotation just by the way they would kind of move pitchers around. So, yeah, now you spent all this money on Edwin Diaz, but especially with Alex Vesia, Tanner Scott, and Blake Trinan pitching pretty well to start the season, there isn't that pressure to have Diaz coming out there and save situations when he's not completely right or rushing him back because you need him. So it's plausible. I mean, Travis Rogers and I mentioned yesterday that the Dodgers, before last night's game, they were 19-9. Now they're 20-9. They're doing it without having had Mookie Betts most of the season. Mm-hmm. They haven't had Edwin Diaz for a good chunk of the year. Kyle Tucker hasn't hit yet. Shohei went through kind of a little bit of a slump. These are things that would sink most other teams. The Dodgers are tied for the best record in baseball with all this stuff going on right now.
There's no Tommy Edman also.
Yeah.
And Freddie Freeman, they were talking about, he hasn't hit a home run since the beginning of April. So
Yeah.
it's been almost a month since Freddie Freeman hasn't, I think it was the 6th or the 7th. But still, he hasn't hit a home run since the beginning of April. They're doing it for all those guys, and what you just talked about, they're still 20-9. It goes to show that, I don't know, my conspiracy theory still makes it. They did it with Glasnow. I truly believe they did it with Glasnow. I think they did it with Snell. I think they're doing it with Snell again, because they have plausible reasoning to say you need to sit for a while. The fact is that you do have an injury. You did have surgery on your elbow to remove loose bodies. You can take as much time as you need because you have a legitimate issue that you had to deal with. So it just sounds like all the same things that, with all those guys missing, they're still 20-9. You can sit there and wait. And speaking of Snell, he's pitching tonight.
Yeah.
At the Ontario Buzzers, I think against Lake Elsinore, but I don't know who it's against. But
the Lake Elsinore Storm? Okay.
I think so. I think.
Okay.
But it's also like he's pitching again. That'll be 2. He's supposed to go 3 or 4. So he's going to be back sooner rather than later.
That's great. I mean, I know that the original diagnosis was sort of end of May, and maybe we can move that up a little bit. That'd be pretty awesome. So we'll keep an eye on. I know the last start by the numbers wasn't particularly good. We'll see if that changes a little bit. With this next start there. If somebody's in Ontario and you want to go check it out and let us know, that would be cool too.
If you've never been to a minor league baseball game, they're a ton of fun.
They're so much fun.
If you're anywhere near Ontario and you can go to this game tonight, you absolutely should, just because it's a blast. They have minor league baseball is just fun with what they do in between innings and all around the pomp and circumstance all around it. And you get to see Blake Snell. So I think that's pretty cool. And eventually, I'm sure you're going to get Mookie Betts around there eventually, because he's starting to hit. Yeah. So there's a lot of it's a good product to go see in around LA, and it doesn't take that long to get there, and it's a great experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, there's a chance you may see somebody playing today that ends up being a star in the major leagues a couple years from now too. It's always kind of fun to see.
I knew them when.
Right, like I saw them in Ontario. It's kind of cool, so that'd be fun. Tonight's game 2 of the series against the Marlins, Shohei Ohtani on the mound. We will wait and see whether that means Shohei Ohtani also is the designated hitter. We're not sure about that yet. We'll find out. Going against Jansen Junk, and I'm trying to find a scouting report on him to see if this is a case of nominative determinism. Is he a guy who just throws a lot of curves and sliders and changeups or what? I'm not able to find anything about him right now.
I bet you he throws just a 4-seam fastball, a 2-seam fastball, and a cutter.
Yeah. Let's see.
His pitch mix is that they don't really have a lot of that.
They don't really have a lot of that on the pitch mix there. So he throws a 4-seamer 30% of the time, a slider 25% of the time, change, sweeper, curve, sinker. Those are the pitches there. But he's primarily a 4-seamer.
Yeah, so not a junk pitcher. But also, I don't think, this is my guess, I don't think Shohei hits today. I think it was a late game that happened. He's going to pitch today, and then it's a short turnaround tomorrow on a day game. So to me, that sounds like he's not going to be there, which means I bet you get Dalton Rushing in at DH, or maybe they take Freddie off his feet. But not be there you go, not be the DH tomorrow.
There it is.
Yeah, makes total sense. Like he was hinting at it on yesterday. He was saying, will he be the DH? Will he be the DH tomorrow when he pitches? And he goes, oh, come on, man. It makes sense though, because of the short turnaround, and then because on the next day, and you want him in the lineup as much as possible. This is a game that you can kind of be like, hey, we're going to give you a day rest, and it's also the pitching on 5 days rest instead of his normal 6.
There you go. All right, so no Shohei in the batting order tonight, but Shohei on the mound against Jansen Junk, who, by the way, if we're going by my theory, they should have a decent night offensively, because his ERA is 3.67 as opposed to Chris Paddock, who was over 6 and just turned into vintage Kevin Brown for about 4 or 5 innings there. So I don't know.
Frustrating. And you didn't get run support for Yama while he was
same. It's all the things that coming together at once. But in the end, they get the win, so that's really the important part there.
Yes.
Anyway, that'll do it for this edition of the Blue Review. Thanks to everybody in the chat for hanging out. Thanks to Carlo for production assistance. Stick around for the Sedano and Cap morning extravaganza coming up right after us. We're back with you tomorrow, 6:30 to 6:55, right here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel for the Blue Review presented by LAX. See you, everybody.
See you.